Today we discuss the best and worst moms of pop culture of all time, and we talk about more Microsoft drama. All this and more. This is Nerds with Mics. Hello, and welcome to episode 149 of Nerds with Mics. I'm Travis.
I'm Justin.
And like I said, we are talking about today the best and worst moms of pop culture of all time. The biggest reason is today is the day after Mother's Day, and what better topic than to talk about the best and worst madres. We're also going to talk about some news. Obviously, the recent news with the layoffs with Microsoft. And then, get into more shenanigans. But without further ado, we always like to start the show off by talking about what we've been up to. So, Justin, I'll turn it over to you. What have you been up to?
Yeah, so been fighting a little illness lately. In fact, our whole house has. It just dawned
The
on me
AIDS.
today. Huh?
You caught the AIDS?
No, I don't think we're joking about that either.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yikes. That's it's a hot topic.
Canceled.
Yeah,
Hashtag
you might be. Yeah. It dawned on me today because I'm just like feeling kind of worn down too. I was like, this could have been COVID. It's very possible because we went to a concert. Have we recorded since I went to that concert? Probably
Oh, and
not.
then we recorded, I think, was the concert the same weekend you went to Kings Island?
Yeah, it was. So no, we haven't been on.
No, we have not.
Well, in that case, I need to talk about that. So we went and saw Death Cab for Cutie and the Postal Service doing their Transatlanticism and Give Up tour. I was under the impression that this was the 10th anniversary of these two albums, right?
Yeah.
And then near the end of the show, Ben Gibbard says, I want to thank you all for loving these albums for the last 20 years. And I immediately go into a panic attack. I'm like, hold up. This can't be the way life is, right?
Yeah.
And then it occurred to me, I listened to these albums in high school, and that's been almost 20 years ago. So the concert was going really well, and then it wasn't. So I sent you a picture of their guitar player. Remember, I said he looks like Trent Crimm, Independent. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we went and saw Death Cab and Postal Service, and that was amazing. And then went to see the Reds play. Went to Kings Island, which is always fun. We have season passes for Kings Island, and we try to go up there a few times a year. To go twice, it pays for itself. On the entertainment front, I watched a couple things on Netflix for the Netflix is a Joke festival that's been happening. I watched the Roast of Tom Brady. Did you catch that?
I heard that. No, I want to watch it, but I heard it's amazing.
It's 3 hours long, and it's absolutely brutal. I'm not a huge Kevin Hart fan, but he absolutely crushed it as the host. There was some really where it was actually aired live. They actually aired this live, right? So I remember before when Comedy Central would do these, I would watch them and I'd be like, man, I wish they wouldn't, edit jokes out, blah, blah, blah. I totally get it. Like there was some stuff that just isn't funny. Like they're not all comedians, right? And then there's some moments where like Gronk is just Gronk and you're like, yeah, he probably need to have his set cut down. So I definitely see the pros in editing these kind of things now. However, I don't regret watching all 3 hours of it. It was pretty great. And then I also watched part of Netflix's Joke. Everybody's in LA with John Mulaney. It was his. It was a weird 6-episode only show that aired live again on Netflix. About it's just called Everybody's in LA. It was basically a talk show. If John Mulaney had a talk show, what would it look like? And it was just as weird as you would have imagined. In fact, Nikki Glaser was one of the guests, and she's like, "I love this show. This is like an inside joke that only you're part of." And it was very bizarre, but it was very fun. He had guests like Bill Hader was on an episode. Patton Oswalt was on an episode. And they had little bits where they mixed in, pre-recorded segments, and it was just really, really good. I really enjoyed that. I also watched, excuse me, I'm getting over this crud. I also watched the movie Late Night with the Devil. Have you seen that one?
No, but I believe you talked about that on the last episode, I think.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh man, where have I been?
Talked about because I think you talked about how the movie takes place like.
Oh, I did. Like, you're right. Well, I'm gonna talk about it again. I'm gonna talk about it. No, I'm not going to. I thought that had occurred like the weekend I went to Kings Island. I thought that's when I watched it. So Maybe I did have COVID. Maybe I've got the brain fog going on.
Yeah,
You
maybe.
should have looked at that and been like, "What are you doing, man?" And in that case, I haven't watched
I
anything.
thought you had more to add. I don't know.
I'm just gonna talk about it more. Well, I know I didn't talk about this last time. I'm taking part in the alpha for Marvel Rivals and the beta for Arena Breakout Infinite. Marvel Rivals, if you're not familiar, that's the Overwatch clone with the Marvel characters and locations. And
Terry's
Arena Breakout.
jealous.
What's that?
Terry's gonna be jealous.
Yeah, he should be. And then Arena Breakout Infinite is, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a Escape from Tarkov clone, which we talked about Tarkov and all their troubles a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago. So since Tarkov had these issues, Gray Zone Warfare launched, which was another take on the extraction shooter, and then Arena Breakout Infinite went into beta. And I've tried both. Gray Zone Warfare, a little rough around the edges. Arena Breakout Infinite, honestly, even though it's in beta state, it's very smooth, runs great. It's fun. It's basically Escape from Tarkov if you don't. So Tarkov is a very sweaty game, right?
Yeah.
This kind of alleviates some of that. So in Tarkov, you don't have a map. You have to like earn your compass. There you have quests you have to do, but there's no way of knowing like how to get to where you're going. If you want a map, you have to basically pull up another monitor and pull up a map there and just hope that you're in the right spot. This game has a map, it has a compass, it has quest markers. It dumbs it down, but while still making it a hardcore extraction shooter. So like the gameplay is still very difficult, but you don't have to make this game your life to be able to enjoy it. Tarkov, I love, but there were times that I'm like, just F this game, man. Like I'm done with it. Like you would be
Yeah.
going the wrong direction. This is before you get your compass and you wouldn't even know it because everything kind of looked the same. So
Yep.
has a ton of potential. Marvel Rivals has a ton of potential as well. That game is just really fun. It is a 6v6 hero shooter like Overwatch 1. Overwatch 2 went to 5v5, but I mean, it plays so well. The characters are fun. I would say its biggest issue right now is balancing. Some characters feel truly useless, and then some feel a little overpowered. So I think once they tweak some of that stuff, it could be either an open beta or maybe early access on Steam. I don't know what their plans look like, but I mean, I hope when this beta ends next week, I hope that it's not. I don't have to wait long to play it again because I definitely want to play this game a lot. And I believe that's my time.
You acted like you're about to run out of time.
Well, I mean, I
Did you
just
hear
ranted a lot about stuff, and I think I went through all of it. So
Did you hear the music start to play in the background? It was your time to get off stage.
I did. The orchestra started playing, and the
Yeah.
teleprompter up here said, "Please stop."
Yeah, so for me, I actually dabbled a little bit in some games this week. I can't remember if I talked about this last week, so we may have brought up the same movies we talked about. But I went and watched The Fall Guy, the new movie with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. Uh, it's getting good reviews. However, I guess it's not performing well at the box office, which is
Really?
unfortunate because I thought the movie was phenomenal. Great chemistry between the two. Funny movie, great soundtrack. You ever just watch a movie and then immediately want to listen to like the soundtrack right after? It's like that kind of movie.
Yeah.
I also, oddly enough, been looking for something to play on my handheld, and I re-downloaded an older game, Mad Max, and I've actually been playing that on handheld in bed at night. I don't know if you ever played that game or dabbled in it at all, but it's a game by Avalanche Studios, open world. It's actually pretty good. I feel like it was one of those games that was kind of like went under the radar that didn't get a lot of attention, but it's a pretty polished game and it's fun. I got in kind of the mood after seeing the trailer for the new Mad Max coming out. Is it Furioso or whatever it's called? So I'm pretty excited to see that movie. So I started playing this game. I've also been playing Final Fantasy. I'm about almost halfway through the story of Endwalker, and I'm about to hit 90 as far as my level goes. I'll actually probably hit 90 tonight.
Where's your
'Cause I haven't done
character like in the story? Like what location are they?
So I just transitioned from the moon, um, and then I went to the area where it's basically ran by tiny little rabbits everywhere. Did that
Yeah.
area, and now I'm in the next area after that.
That place
So
on the moon with the little rabbits, the
yeah,
Loporits?
it's like carrot something or other. Yeah, yeah,
That part
yeah.
sucked. I'm telling you, that game, Endwalker is like a masterpiece, but that chunk
Yeah.
sucked. And like the
Yeah.
moments right before you get there are like all time high, like the best moments. You're like, these are such
Yeah.
good vibes. And then it's like, guess what? Boom.
Yeah, my buddy said that they really should have ended on the moon. Like they felt like the moon wasn't utilized enough. I thought the moon looked cool. It was
It
super
did look
cool.
cool. Navigating
Um,
sucks until you can use
that's what
mounts,
I said too.
climb
You could
mounts.
fly. Yeah, like you have to go in these underground caves and find out where stuff is. Yeah, it's a pain, honestly. I feel like I could have already been done with it, but half of it's just navigating around.
Yeah.
Also started not rewatching, but watching the new episodes of Clarkson Farm, which I don't know if you've watched that show or not. It's Jeremy Clarkson, which came from Top Gear.
Yeah.
He has a show about him running a farm. He had 2 seasons. The third season's out. They just released the back half of the third season, so I've been watching that. And then I've also been watching Justified as well. About to wrap up the first season. That one's going a little slower than I wanted it to. I think mostly because the episodes are kind of longer, so I don't really get a whole lot of time to watch as much as those. And that's a show that I don't feel like I can have in the background while I'm doing something else. It's like something I want to pay attention to. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Um, but outside of that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I've also been watching the show Loot, which I think I talked about last episode. It's still really funny. It's really good. But outside of that, that was pretty much my week. So before we hop into our big topic, which is obviously about Madres, and I know you obviously was out last week, so I don't know how much of the news per se that you had saw around the gaming stuff, but Microsoft has been at it again. Microsoft last week had closed Tango GameWorks Studio, which was a studio that was responsible for the Evil Within series and also Hi-Fi Rush. Um, both series, which were pretty well received. Pretty sure that Hi-Fi Rush won a bunch of awards last year. I think they even won a BAFTA.
It's one of the
But it
highest
just
reviewed
made,
games last year.
yeah. And what's crazy is to think about is like I think they were in talks of like they went to Microsoft. They were in talks about wanting to do a sequel, but their ambitions for this game was a little bigger than last, and was talking about how they may want to make their team a little bit bigger. And shortly after that, Microsoft had shut down the studio. So, I think it just makes you wonder the state of the industry, because when you have these game studios that are out here releasing good games and still getting shut down, it just makes you feel like nobody's safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, it just seems when Sony is making terrible moves. I don't know if you saw Sony; they fired the I don't know if it was the community manager for Helldivers 2.
Yeah, because they
Because oh yeah, go ahead.
no, so they were that's a whole other thing. I mean, that's a whole other topic about the PSN requirements for Helldivers 2 on PC after so many months of it being out. And of course, the Helldivers community didn't take too kindly to that. It rendered the game useless in like 18 countries or something like that because they can't have PSN accounts there. It was a pretty disgusting thing in some regard. Um, I think had it launched with this, no one bats an eye, you know, but it
Yeah,
was coming in later. But yeah, the community manager for Helldivers 2, who actively encouraged people to review bomb and
yeah,
act out, got fired, which is, I mean, not surprising, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but with these closings of the studios, it seems like when Sony does something really shitty and Microsoft has a chance to really like, shift the light to them and do something great, it just seems to be that they just continue to do things to help them also look bad in a negative
Yeah.
light. An article I was reading the other day was talking about how this is no longer Xbox games. This is now Microsoft games. Like it seems to be that they're running this more like their actual Windows business as opposed to, actually caring about the gamers. You know what I mean? So that was one of the things that, I found interesting. It's like you have Microsoft that has this great platform for Game Pass where they're having all these developers come in and say, this is going to be a one-stop shop to play great games. And it seems to be, you know, all these other outside people coming in are typically safe on Game Pass, but it seems like all the people that are necessarily close to Microsoft are the ones that are getting shut down, which I find interesting. And I don't know if this is coming because they're wanting it. There was a little bit of news talking about how they wanted to condense down some of these teams. But I'll be honest, like if I was Sony and I saw that they shut down Tango GameWorks, I would have been like, "How about you come here and make Hi-Fi Rush 2?" Because the thing is that was that not one of the games that Microsoft chose to release on PlayStation?
It is, but I don't know if I mean, if Microsoft owns the name and stuff, like the engine, I don't know what all Microsoft owns and what all the actual
Oh, that's
developer
true. Yeah.
owns. So
Yeah, it's just really crappy. I feel like the gaming industry right now is just like not
sucks.
everywhere, but I feel like it's a very toxic place to be right now. Whether you're a developer, whether you're a writer, it just feels like nobody's safe.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, well, some people are saying, well, now more than ever, it's better to work at an uh, indie studio. But then when you're an indie studio, you have to go to these bigger people to get your games published a lot of times. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like it's a double edged sword. But I'm hoping it gets better soon because right now it just doesn't feel like not only are gamers not winning in a lot of regards, but obviously the people that are trying to create games doesn't sound like they're winning either. So
And
it's
another
it sucks.
Yeah, another thing to kind of I mean, this doesn't exactly tie into this, but, like, today it was announced that Square Enix is gonna be completely shifting their business model because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy 16, both highly well-reviewed games, both Game of the Year contenders in their respective years, um, underperformed, and you gotta think about it, like, these are single-player games coming out on one console. They're not even out on PC yet, they're not coming to Xbox as far as we know. I mean, will PC and Xbox save Square Enix? I don't know, but I mean, you're talking about major blockbuster games, which is what I personally want more of. I want less games as a service
Yeah.
and more big, AAA blockbusters, but they're not selling well. So, what message is that sending the suits that write the checks? So, I don't know, man. I agree with you. Gaming gaming feels kind of bleak right now, and I mean, for every Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, there's like five Suicide Squads, so it's
Right.
like, this isn't the world I wanna live in gaming wise. Um,
Right. Yeah. It's kind of tragic because like, especially with this news, like with Hellblade 2 getting ready to come out, it's
yeah,
like the things that Microsoft is doing, like, makes me not want to even like go support, like, because I was gonna sign back up for Game Pass just to play that game. But then I'm like, I don't know if I want to support Microsoft as a company with everything I got going on. But then at the same time, you're also possibly contributing to them wanting to maybe close down that studio because that's Ninja Theory, I think, right? So like, what happens if what happens if Hellblade comes out and it's like well received, but then they still get shut down? It just
yeah,
feels like when studios releasing games that are well received and you're still getting shut down, it just really makes you wonder, like, is it really matter? Does it really matter how good this game is at this point? You know what I mean?
yeah, and I don't fully understand. I know that obviously purchasing Activision cost a lot of money, and then also the legal fight cost money to secure the transaction, but, like, I don't really understand the benefit of buying Activision if you're gonna make the games cross-platform anyway. I just don't understand what
Yeah.
I mean, if Game Pass isn't gonna be on other consoles, I don't understand where you win, because you
Right.
can't sell Game Pass subscriptions to PlayStation users so they can get Call of Duty. I don't understand, and I'm not a business-minded person, so I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like, "Well, I get it because of this," but, like, I don't get it, so and I'm now seeing them a year later shut down studios that were making good games.
Yeah, a lot of the business decisions that went into this, from according to Microsoft, is that they wanted to be strategic and shift realignment in their resources, like I said, to consolidate. They really wanted to also focus on major projects and franchises, and then also financially like, make more sense. But the thing is like it makes me wonder if Microsoft is trying to do the same thing that Warner Brothers said they wanted to do, is where they want to focus on more live service games, because the studio, if you think about that, they closed down. We're all single player experiences, right? So it just makes me wonder if like they're wanting to pivot towards, those live service games that Activision and Blizzard have, and get away from more of those single player experiences. So they're just kind of cutting losses and think to themselves, well, we have a ton of great single player games in Game Pass. We don't really need to fill that void. Let's just focus on more live service games. I'm not real sure, but it'll be interesting to see how things shake out. But I do hope the studios that close, that some of those employees, if not all those employees, end up somewhere else doing something.
So this is like not this isn't, I don't know how accurate this is. It's from a Steam revenue calculator site, but it is estimated that Hi-Fi Rush made $23 million in sales and gross revenue, and it reached it reached over 3 million players as of last October. Once again, I'm not a business-minded person, so I don't know. There's a estimated gross revenue, and then there's a net revenue. The net revenue is much smaller at 6.9 million. The gross revenue is 23.4 million. Either way, those look like good numbers to me. But then
Yeah,
again,
that's
I
true.
don't have $1 million or $6 or $24 million. So I don't
Yeah, I
know.
was trying to see like what their budget was for that game based on
I
what
can't
did you say the
imagine it was
profit?
much.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. Um, but yeah, it's a shame, bro. And I also think too, it makes me wonder, like, I mean, obviously we saw post COVID, like people's behaviors in theaters have changed. A lot less people are going to theaters. It also makes me wonder, like, not necessarily post COVID, but like how the gaming culture has shifted and people's habits for gaming. Do you think because the rise of things like Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff, where people would rather go watch people play games as opposed to play themselves, is impacting that? Is people getting more involved in social media and taking time away from them and playing games? It just makes you wonder what things in society and culture are shifting to cause people to play less games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am seeing here while I was trying to find some information. A year ago, Jeff Grubb said that despite its good reviews, Hi-Fi Rush didn't make the money it needed to make. And then
Oh,
someone in the comments said, "Not in a million years did Xbox expect a shadow dropped rhythm brawler to sell more than it did."
so it
Because if you
sounds
do
like it
remember
was
this
just a
game,
surprise for them. Yeah,
yeah, this
it was
game
shadow
did
dropped.
zero
Yeah.
marketing, zero marketing, gets dropped into a day one subscription service, and then does not sell well. So, I mean, it does look like, let's see here, Aaron Greenberg. There's a tweet from Aaron Greenberg. He said, which he's the VP of Xbox games marketing and a board member for a few other places. But he said, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. That was last April, April 21st, 2023, almost a year before they shut them down. So, Aaron, can
Yeah.
you elaborate now? Um,
Yeah. What's crazy too is like I was on Facebook scrolling the other day, and this was like a couple days after they did these layoffs. It had posted that they changed their profile picture, and it
yeah,
was the Xbox logo, but it was in red. And I was like, that's weird. And then you see in the chat, and you see in the comment section of that, like, oh, it makes sense that this is red now. It's the blood of all your fallen studios and just all kinds of
jeez.
stuff. Like, it's like, oh, Microsoft has went red ring of death, all kinds of stuff. But it just sucks, just because it just feels like a super toxic environment right now. I don't I don't know. All I know is I want it to change.
Oh, I do too. I just
Um,
don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, I think we opened up this horrible can of worms like 20 years ago with DLC and selling unfinished products. Because if you remember, before network capabilities, we were sold games that for the most part worked. Yeah, some games were broken, but like for the most part, they worked. And now they're just like disasters, I feel like. I mean, almost every game ships in some sort of an unfinished or broken state. And then there's content that they hold uh, for release later. And, there's these games as a service, live service games. And I just want to, I don't know, man. Like I said, for every like Tears of the Kingdom, for every Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, there's like 5 Suicide Squads or more. And it just sucks. So I don't know,
Yeah, and
man.
that's the thing that I'll say about Nintendo is Nintendo, you never have to guess whether or not you're getting a finished product or a polished game. I mean, it may be that we don't get games as often from them and they don't refresh older IP as often as we'd like, but at least we know what we're getting with them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're
Yeah.
not getting a half-baked idea. We're getting a full-fledged game that, we feel like we actually get our money's worth. Now, that's not to say that every game that they release, but honestly though, most Nintendo's games, like if you like that genre, you're gonna like the game
Yeah.
more than likely. Somehow every Mario game still seems to do really well. Like I don't like every Zelda game seems to still be a hit. Like, I know we give them a lot of shit for like their whole infrastructure and lack of online and like social gaming and stuff like that. But as far as like consistency, they're a very consistent studio. So
I don't think I'm sorry. I don't think Nintendo needs heavy online stuff.
no.
If anything, it's just another online platform to fracture the gaming community. So
Yeah, for
stick with
sure.
what you're good at, man.
Stick with what you're good at for sure. All right. Well, anything else to add before we get into our main topic?
No.
Well, let's get in and talk about Madres.
Yeah,
And
Mother's Day was yesterday.
obviously, yeah, Mother's Day was yesterday. Did you have you had two mothers to celebrate, right?
Well, I mean, I try not to talk about your mom on the show that much, but I did
You beat
worship
me,
her
you beat
yesterday.
me to it, you son of a bitch.
Got him.
You did. Bam!
Boom. Yeah. My mom and then my wife, who is also a mom to our kid. So
Yeah. How's
yeah,
my son?
he's doing okay. He doesn't look like you.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
Is
it is
he
weird. It looks like me,
that's a-
which is really
oh, that's
weird.
that's so strange.
Super
It's hard to
weird, man.
believe. It's hard to believe that it just seems like overnight, your son has turned into what looks like a young, full-grown man. I don't
I
understand it.
know. It sucks,
It's
man.
so weird. He
It
looked
makes me
young
so sad.
for the longest time, and then it's just like overnight, it's like this guy looks like he could be a branch manager at a bank. Like,
I'll have to let him know his options are there. So
yeah, but
he's
you
still
had a
like
good day.
4 foot something. He's still very short, but
But his confidence makes him seem so tall.
yeah, that's true.
But you had a good day yesterday, though.
Yeah, yeah. We grilled out and hung out and stuff.
You
It's
do
good.
hibachi? Is that what you did? Did you grill out some
No, it's
hibachi?
burgers and dogs. Burgers and dogs.
Ah, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent my mom. I only have one mom to celebrate in my life, but I sent my mom. The older she gets, so her mom used to always like to bird watch, and then my mom, as she's gotten older, she likes to like bird watch just on the porch and watch birds on a bird feeder or whatever. So I bought her a bird feeder that has a camera built into it,
Cool.
and it also has like AI built in. So if a bird lands, it will tell you like what type of bird it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then it also has a squirrel alarm. So if a squirrel gets on the birdhouse, you can open up the app and hit a button, and it will scare the squirrels off. And I think you could set it to do it automatically.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I got her that, and then I sent her flowers. But she was pretty happy about the birdhouse. I don't know if they got it set up yet or not, but it even has like a little solar roof on it, so it just is constantly charged. You don't have to worry about
That's really
charging.
nice.
Yeah, I really outdid myself.
You did, man.
I'm gonna have to get that login for that app though, so I can watch birds too. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah. You should have made you
Uh,
should have set it for made the account and then like here it's already logged in.
Yeah, I did that with a digital picture frame once, but I did not do that with that camera.
Can
It
you
was
upload
easier just
pictures to it from where you are right now?
yeah. You mean to upload a picture of you? Let her know you're thinking
No,
about her?
no.
But anyways, yeah, had a good Mother's Day. But Justin had the great idea today for the topic to talk about the best and worst moms in pop culture history, which I think is great. I've never really thought about it. I actually had to like really think about like pop culture moms
Yeah.
because it's not really something that I think about a ton about.
We
Right?
left out
So
video game moms. It's just movies and TV shows right now.
Yeah, because I don't honestly can't think of a ton of video
Well,
game
I
moms.
mentioned Ash's mom, or the main
Yeah,
character's mom in Pokemon is a good mom. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty
yeah,
much
and
it.
that's all you got.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. But how about we just do you just want to alternate what we got? We'll start with the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Go
Number
ahead. You can kick
one.
us.
These aren't ranked. These aren't ranked. These are honestly just how they came to like into my head. Joyce Byers from Stranger Things. Good mom.
She is a good mom.
She
Absolutely.
they tried to gaslight her and make her think she was crazy and that her kid was dead. And she was like, "No, I know my kid's alive. He's making the Christmas lights go nuts in the living room."
Yeah.
And she fought.
She's she's the crazy woman that just had it all together, you know what I
She's
mean?
the 1980s horror version of Reba McEntire. She's a single mom who works too hard, loves her kids, and never stops. Something like that. I don't know the song, but you know the song.
No.
The Reba McEntire show, the song.
I don't know. I'm Reba. I know the one from SNL, but I don't
I'm
know.
Reba. Okay, there's a song. It's like she's a single mom who works too hard. She loves her kids and never stops. I don't know. It's something. I forget it. I feel dumb. All right, you're up.
Oh god. All right, well, I'm gonna show my age on this one. So because I also try to think about the moms that I was raised by when I was getting babysitted by my grandma my TV moms. Carol Brady from the Brady
Great
Bunch.
one.
Uh,
Great one.
yeah, she's a great one. You know, she was always patient with her children throughout all their shenanigans. I think she was loving, she was wise, and she managed to she honestly managed a great blended family because if you think about it, they all had their own kids and then came together. So that's
That's
like
a lot of
organized
kids,
chaos.
man. That's a lot
That's
of
a lot
kids.
of it really was. And she seemed to just take it in
There's a
stride.
lot of
So
smashing happening in the 50s and 60s. End up with that many kids when the show came on the air
I
on
mean you're
both
not wrong.
individual families, and they
Yeah.
merged them together.
Yeah. All
They,
right,
they
what's
never
your
had
next one?
kids together, though, did they? Mike
I
and
don't think
Carol
so.
Brady.
Which you know what would have been cool is if that's how the show would have ended. They would have had a kid of their own.
But then that'd have been awkward. Like, is it maybe twins, one boy and one
Maybe
girl?
they
To
oh yeah. They
there's
could have
four,
had
four.
honestly. What if Alice would have had a kid
What if
by
he
Mr.
knocks up
Brady?
Alice? That'd have been good.
That's yeah, that's what I was saying, bro.
Yeah,
Drama.
man, that'd have been awesome. And but she has twins.
She
Dang,
does have a nice set of twins.
Alice, the housekeeper, Travis. My God, man. All
Tell me
right,
about it.
on to the next one. I had Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers.
Ooh, I've not. That's the second time I've heard her name come up in a week, and we went to trivia, and the bonus question was listed all the names of the moms, and you had to list like what show they're from. And
Oh, cool.
well, not only her, but also Byers was also. Those were two moms on the list.
Did you get him right?
Uh, we got the one we didn't get Joyce Byers right. We got the
What?
other one right though. Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen Stranger Things, bro. I forgot.
Yikes. All right. Well, Linda Belcher's awesome. She helps run Bob's Burgers with Bob. She raises 3 kids. Super supportive mom. Great mom.
Yeah, I'm gonna take one of yours that you have. I'm gonna
Go ahead and do
say
both of them because they're in the same franchise.
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So I want to start with Molly Weasley from the Harry Potter series. Super protecting and loving. I feel like the cool thing about it is when Harry first showed up at the house, she treated Harry like he was her own, honestly. And I felt like she was a strong motherly figure. And then in yours, you had also said Lily Potter as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, she has limited screen and book time, but it's literally her the love she has for her kid that is why we have the story.
Yeah,
Because she sacrifices herself so Harry can live. So, like, yeah, Lily
that,
Potter for
that's
the win.
that's strong, bro.
Super strong.
All
Mom
right,
strength.
what else you got?
Rosie Betzler from Jojo Rabbit, ScarJo's character, if you're
Oh
familiar.
yeah,
So she's literally
yeah.
raising a little boy in Nazi Germany who is like idolizing the Nazis, and she's just trying to instill love and compassion and
It's so
positive things.
sad.
All the while she's harboring a Jewish girl in her attic. And like, yeah, it's great mom. Great mom. And then
Yeah,
won't talk more about what happens.
yeah. Um, I know I feel like your wife would agree with my next pick. Lorelai Gilmore from the
She
Gilmore
would.
Girls.
She would agree.
Uh, a single mom.
Who works too hard. She loves her
Obviously,
kid, never stops.
yeah. Shares a deep bond with her daughter Rory, which is hard to do because Rory is a chronic complainer and always seems to make terrible decisions. Um, that's just my opinion. But I think the thing that's cool about that show. Did you watch it with your wife, or am I just talking?
No.
Don't act like you watched it. Don't even play.
I've
Don't even
seen
play.
bits and pieces, but I never watched
Ah,
it.
but they have a
I
really cool
couldn't tell you the
dynamic.
daughter's name.
It's Rory, bro. I just said.
Oh yeah,
Anyways,
I know there's a guy named Luke because Kayla has a
yeah,
Luke's
he
mug and a
runs the
Luke
diner,
sweater.
bro.
Is he the guy
She
that always
probably
wears the
went.
hat?
Yeah, she
He's
probably went
bald.
to the pop up diner when they had it in Charleston. I
I
bet she
don't
did,
think
didn't she?
she did.
But anyways, I feel like the dynamic with her is cool because it's like she's Rory's friend, but she's also her mother, and it toes that line between the two. Um, but yeah, that was my third one. What else you got?
I'm at Chili from Bluey.
I
Bluey
love
is
chili,
yeah, the food or the dog.
both
Okay,
chili dog.
Bluey's just it's a show for kids, but really it's for everyone. And Chili's a great mom who's raising these two little pups, and yeah, it's a good show. Good mom.
I've never seen Bluey.
It's for everyone, dude. If you want another
Okay,
cool kids show, Puff and Rock on Netflix.
sounds like it's drugs.
No, but if you partake, it would probably be a good watch.
Oh gosh.
I mean, it
All
probably
right.
would be. Yeah. The cop from Bridesmaids?
Yeah.
He narrates Puff and Rock, and it's
Okay.
like his
Gotcha.
voice is just so
Yeah.
soothing. He's got a smoothing voice.
Yeah.
And like watching the little puffins do their little thing. Yeah,
Little puffins.
yeah.
Little
If you
puffin stuff.
partook in drugs, that'd probably be a good one to watch.
Yeah. I so did you ever watch I know you didn't watch the show. You didn't watch This Is Us, did you?
No, I mean I've seen
Yeah.
it, but I know.
Rebecca Pearson, which was Mandy Moore's character. She was a great mom. That's a good show. Yeah, I mean, she also had a blended family and some tragedy strikes, but
Moved on pretty quick.
whoa, but she's able to. She's good at handling all the different complex and diversities of her family. But she's solid. But yeah, you're right. She did. What a hooker. Maybe I need to move her down the list.
Yikes. Last on my good list is Claire Dunphy from Modern Family. Modern Family is obviously a little exaggerated, but as far as like, I feel like she kind of captures that kind of like mom raising teenagers vibe pretty well. Of course, this is like an extremely rich family in California, so like their problems aren't the same as everyone else's problems, but like it was a pretty good show. And she, while she was kind of worn out and fed up, a lot of the time she portrayed the role pretty well and was a good mom.
Okay. I'm gonna say a couple hot takes here. Well, not hot takes, but some different choices. Did you have any more for best or no?
No.
That was your last one. Okay.
Yeah.
So Dumbo's mom from the animated Dumbo. That was a good one. And then also I know you probably have never seen the show Good Times, but the mom on that show, Florida Evans, she was phenomenal. I grew up on her as well. And then also two animated shout outs. Marge Simpson, because it's always shenanigans in the Simpsons household, but
Hit
she's
me with your
phenomenal.
best Marge Simpson impression.
I got nothing.
Homer. That was terrible.
All right, well, let's hear yours.
I don't have one.
Oh, you're the worst. You're the worst. And then also Elastigirl. Holler at Elastigirl on them cheeks. She's a good mom. Navigating superhero life with her children.
Oh my god.
And also the Queen Mother from Aliens, which you've
Okay.
never seen. So
No.
it's fine.
I haven't.
Now let's go ahead and talk about the worst moms.
Yeah, I want to start by saying this is not based. This does not mean we dislike the character, because there's one I put on this list that got a lot of hate from like just fans of this show, and this does not mean we don't like the character. It just means we think they're a bad mom.
We would not want her as our mother.
Exactly. And the one I'll go ahead and jump to that one. The one I'm referring to is Skylar White from Breaking Bad. That actress and that character got a lot of hate. People turned on her because she
got death threats, right?
I don't know if she got death threats, but people like really she got a lot of like hate for her character. And this does not mean we dislike the character or the actress. In fact, the opposite. I like Skylar. But the fact that at the end of the day, she knew her husband was running a meth empire while being a mom and not getting her kids out of there. And it all kind of comes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the show?
No, but you can go ahead.
I can't. I can't. I would
Okay.
never dare spoil something
Here,
this
I'll
great.
take my
No,
earbud out.
no. Anyway, it all comes to a head near the end of the series when something crazy happens. And if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, bad mom. Bad mom. As soon as you find out your husband's a meth
You should
empire
probably get out.
guy,
All right.
kingpin, yeah, you get out. You report him and you get out. But yeah, bad mom because she didn't do that.
Yeah, true. I was gonna say, did you ever watch Bates Motel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Norma,
Norma Bates. Norma Bates. She was super overprotective. She was also
little
pathological.
kinky too.
Yeah, a little kinky. Definitely contributes to her son's mental instability and criminal behavior. Let's just say that. I would not want to be a part of her criminalistic endeavors.
No.
Let's just say that. But yeah, Norma Bates, which that show is really good. Do you have another one?
I do. My next one is Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek. Now, you may be saying, Moira Rose? She's wonderful. She becomes wonderful. When she starts out, she's not a good
She's
mom.
pretty terrible.
They're
Yeah.
all terrible. They're all terrible.
Yeah.
But they become a little more humbled. They get a little bit better. And Moira becomes a good mom. But starting out, I would not want her to be my mom.
She's got to eat some more humble pie, right? Before
Yeah.
she gets to the
The
more.
crows have eyes.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No,
To
not
that?
to that one. No.
This one, which I don't know how much of the show you watched. I know you didn't finish it, but Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones.
No.
Yeah, not a great mom for a few reasons. To that one, she was a little ruthless to say the least. Often putting her children at risk for her own gain.
Terrible mom.
Not to mention the fact, super manipulative and some pretty violent actions that had some pretty big consequences.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was mine.
All right. Next up, for me, I have Lucille Bluth from Arrested Development. Terrible mom. She doesn't care. She loves all of her children the same except Job. She has basically ruined Buster. I mean, she's just a bad mom. And she's also sleeping with their dad's twin brother. I mean, crazy, crazy stuff in the Bluth household. So yeah, Lucille Bluth. Now, keep in mind, I love Lucille Bluth. She's one of my favorite TV characters of all time. Bad mom. If that was my mom, I would want to re-roll and get a new one.
Yeah. I would also have to agree. I've not seen the show, but from the description, I don't think I'd want that.
Oh, you should watch
I
it.
was gonna.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know if that's my kind of humor, but maybe one day. I was gonna say Livia Soprano from The Sopranos.
Okay.
I don't know if you've watched The Sopranos or not.
I've watched a little bit. I started not too long ago. I'm only a few episodes in, so I don't know the full extent of this. But I did see her name pop up a lot today when I was doing my research.
Yeah,
research.
Yeah, big reason is because like she's overly paranoid. A lot of times, you know,
This is Edie Falco, right?
what is it?
Edie Falco, the actress. Is that who
Oh,
plays
yeah,
her?
yeah. But the big thing is like her character like grew up super poor, right? So obviously when she raised her children, she did a lot of questionable things to get where her family was. And I think the big thing is like she attempted to take her own life when Tony tried to move her into a retirement home, which is not great. But super manipulative, especially with her children. So not great madre.
Am I up?
That's it. Yeah.
All right, my next one honestly might be the worst mom on this list. Selena Meyer from Veep. Have you seen Veep? I don't think you have, right?
No, you ask me that almost every episode.
I'm gonna keep asking. Veep, honestly, I've said this before too. Veep is probably the funniest show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's one of the wittiest, sharpest written shows in existence, and it's just so good. But Selena Meyer, she is the vice president. She has this daughter, Catherine, and Catherine is truly just a pawn in her game. As I mean, you soon find out that everyone involved with her is just fodder for her to get to the presidency. But Catherine, with that being her own, flesh and blood, I mean, it really hurts. And like, there's a storyline. I will just spoil this part. There's a storyline where Catherine begins in a relationship with another woman, and her mom had been a very, not very, but had been a pro LGBT candidate. But she then gets this backroom deal where, like, well, we'll do this for your campaign if you nix this gay marriage bill. And she's just like, okay. Just like ruins her daughter's relationship. And
Oh
there,
no.
there's another episode where her daughter's dating someone from Iran, I believe, and she forces them to break up. And like she's just super like she just abuses her daughter in that sense, like over and over and over again. The finale, I don't want to spoil anything, but the finale sees some justice for Catherine. But Selena Meyer, all-time terrible mom. Maybe, like I said, the worst mom on this list.
Oh wow.
Very few redeemable qualities. She's like if you took every person from It's Always Sunny, every person from South Park, and like rolled it up into one presidential candidate. That's who she is. Like, not a good person,
Oh no.
but a great
So
show.
that's okay. Fair enough. The last one I had is an animated one, and it's actually the mom from Futurama.
Okay.
She she actually doesn't have a name, oddly enough, but she's a mom, and she's the head of the company, and she's the head of the company in Futurama called Mom Corp, which I don't know how much Futurama you watched, if any.
None.
Um, but Mom Corp owns. She's got like a friendly robot company. She also owns like a drug. She owns Mom's Friendly Drug Factory, and she also owns Mom's Advanced Weapons and Ammunitions. And she says that she does volunteer work, but she refers to charity work as knocked up teenager sluts. That's what she refers to little naughty children as. But yeah, she has like this persona with the public, like she's a good person, but really she's actually a terrible terrible human being. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Did you say that was your last one?
yeah, that was my
Okay.
last for the bad.
Okay. I've only got two more, so I'll run through them real quick.
Actually, I have one. Actually, I have one more. So go
Okay.
ahead, you're good.
My next one is Maureen Prescott. Do you know who that is, Travis?
Prescott.
Maureen.
It sounds like it's from a comedy.
It's not. So that is Sydney Prescott's mom in the Scream series.
Scream.
Now you barely see Maureen. I think you only see like archive footage and maybe like a ghost version. I don't remember now in a dream. But Maureen was cheating and sleeping around and broke up another family, and that caused poor Billy Loomis to snap and lose his mind. And literally, her infidelity is what sparks all of the Scream movies. There wouldn't be a single Scream movie if she wasn't sleeping around. So Maureen,
Oh
instead of
no.
being there for her family and her daughter, then goes on to have literally decades of serial killers track her daughter down. She was the
Oh.
catalyst for this. So bad mom, super bad mom to put your daughter in that situation. Would
Oh
you agree?
no. Yeah. No, I would agree. That
That
sounds
spawned a
awful.
whole horror franchise.
Yeah, it really did. But if she didn't do the things she did, you wouldn't be able to enjoy the Scream movies.
No, but I mean, obviously, it's all fiction. I mean, Kevin Williamson made her do it, but
Yeah, yeah.
all right.
So this one you may have some personal connection to. Matriarch Benzia. I think it's Benzia from the Mass Effect games.
Yeah,
She was the one, I think it was the beginning of the first game, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. She was the one that was quote unquote brainwashed in the beginning. I think you kill her, and then you have the option whether or not to kill the big worm or not.
Mhm.
Right after that, she was the mother of Laura Tassani, who she was. But But yeah, she was a terrible mom because she was basically controlling her children. Claimed to being brainwashed. Obviously, it was because of Saren, but
Yeah.
not a great mom
No.
for sure. Caused a lot of bad things. She was using her powers to control. Is it the Arachni? I think.
I forget what they're called.
Trying to think what the big worms are, but yeah, um, not great. She was Reaper and Doctor. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not a great mom there. And then go ahead and do your last one. Do your last one, and I think I will have one more after that.
All right. So I bet you thought when I mentioned Moira Rose earlier that Catherine O'Hara was only going to appear once on this list, but no, she's on here twice with Kate McAllister from Home Alone. Who
Oh,
doesn't actually check and make sure all their kids are in the van, get them to Paris, which we're not going to talk about the ability to take all those people to Paris. That's been, talked
yeah.
about to death. Leaves her kid at home after she sends him to the scary attic or basement or whatever it was. And then that turd does it again. Except
Not
this
once,
time
but
he's actually
twice.
at the airport. So terrible mom. Absolutely terrible mom. You can also say terrible dad. But terrible mom because this is a mom list, not a dad list. Maybe in June we can do a dad one.
Huh, Dad.
There's way worse dads because the whole daddy issue thing is like so it's like a trope that has followed us all through time. So
Yeah. I was gonna say the last one that I had that was a terrible mom was Bridget Tenenbaum, which you probably don't know who that is, but that is actually so in the video game BioShock. Did you play BioShock?
yeah.
Yeah, she was the one. She was the actual German scientist that was actually doing experiments on the kids, which was the creation of what they called "quote unquote" Adam. But the kids are what were referred to in the video game as the little sisters of Raptures,
Yeah.
which became not only her test subjects, but then also became her children. Um, so not a great mom
No.
because I don't know if you play Bioshock, but some pretty messed up stuff happens in Bioshock. But so she was responsible for creating Little Sisters by experimental little children. Not so great. Also thought it was interesting they made her German, so not great either.
Jeez.
Yeah, but one of the best moms too, I forgot to mention. I can't believe I forgot to mention it. I just thought about it as you were talking about dads, actually, about doing a dad one. Because as soon as you said good dads, I immediately thought of Hank Hill, which in turn made me think of
Peggy.
Peggy. Peggy's a good mom. She's
Yeah.
always trying to do the right thing.
She was a good mom.
Yeah. Would you say Lois from
No.
no, not a good mom?
The bullying of Meg. They all
Yeah,
bully Meg too much. You can't bully one of your kids and be a good mom.
that's true. That is true. Yeah. Any other ones?
No, I think I'm all tapped out.
I see what you did there. You're tapped out. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I was like, but I
You
didn't
know,
do anything.
yeah.
Just
Well, anyways,
existing.
I'm just sitting here taking it all in. All right. Well, let's so before we wrap out, what do you have? You've had a busy few weeks,
Yeah.
but you got anything else coming up you're looking forward to? Any more games, any more music parts, any more concerts, any vacations?
I've got a pretty busy stretch at work coming up. And then at the beginning of June, I go on vacation. And
Let's
then
go.
yeah, and then aside from that, I think we do see Ben Folds in July. I'd like to go see Daniel Tosh in June or July if possible.
Where's that at?
Columbus. Yeah. I haven't seen him. I saw him. God, I don't want to talk about how long ago that was.
20 years.
It's been all of 20 years. It's probably 04, 05.
Was it when he had a TV show still?
It was before he had the show, so I actually got to meet him.
Oh,
If you look on my Facebook far enough, you'll find a picture of me and Tosh in Athens, Ohio.
was he nice?
That was super nice, yeah. It was really cool
Yeah.
because we were it was honestly really cool because I'd only ever seen his Comedy Central special and I had a CD and I really liked it because I'm a big stand-up comedy fan.
Yeah.
And I remember we got there kind of early. We had front row center seats, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we may not have been front row, maybe been second or third row. We were like front and center though, right? And I remember after the show was over, I was like dying. It was so funny. And I let everyone clear out, and then I walked to the end of the aisle, and at the end of the aisle, there's like just a side door there. As we get to the end, the door opens and he walks out. And I was like, "Oh my God, dude, can I get a picture with you?" and I got a picture with him, and I think he signed my CD, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I know I met Anthony Jeselnik and he signed my CD. Um, I didn't get a picture with Jeselnik. Pretty bummed out about that one. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's cool that he took a picture with you and signed your CD.
yeah, Tosh was really cool. But like I said, that was before the show. And
Yeah.
he definitely became like a multimillionaire not long after that. So don't
It
know
was
if he'd
'cause of
be
you.
as cool. It was because of me, yeah.
Yeah.
He has a podcast now. I don't know if you listen to it, but it's fantastic.
Everybody has a podcast, bro.
He's good. He's really good. He
Is it
interviews
a
people that
comedy
like
podcast or
it's an interview show. It's basically like I'm just gonna say it's like Joe Rogan, but for the left. Like, it's like he's like the anti Joe Rogan. But he interviews people that are just like regular people. Like he did like he had a oh, what's that? Is it called an Airstream? Is
yeah,
that what it's
like a
called?
trailer?
Yeah. He interviewed the guy who renovated his Airstream, and it was like the most fascinating hour I've ever listened to. So it was really good.
Okay.
Have you heard of
Cool.
I'm gonna sidebar for a second. Have you heard of the Doughboys podcast?
No.
I think you'd like it. It's
Okay.
it's a couple guys and they review fast
Not sure
food.
if I should be offended or not, but
No, well, I mean, we both like to eat, but no, they review a fast food menu item every week with celebrities.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so, did you ever watch the show Love on Netflix? I know I've asked you this before.
You keep asking me these things.
Well, it's one of the guys from Love, and the reason I
No, but
watched
I
it is
watch Big Love.
nah, that's the same. But, it was like a 2-hour show. I never listened to podcasts more than, like, 45 minutes, and I listened to all 2 hours in a day. I was like, "This is pure bliss." Like, I loved it.
Called them just
It
reviewing
is,
famous
but it's like
celebrities.
it's a comedy show at the same time. Like, I can't even say
Okay.
some of the stuff they said, but, like, I'm cackling in my office listening to this show.
I'm assuming the whole thing isn't a review. It's like that's part of it, but then it's more like an
Yeah,
interview
like
style.
30 minutes in, they eat the food and they talk about it, but they really are talking about, like, everything. Like, in this most recent the one I went back and listened to, 'cause I'm going back and listening to ones with people I like, they talked about Star Wars for, like, 45 minutes while they're, like, eating, spaghetti. So, like, it's, like, basically it doesn't make any sense. It's just them talking with their friends, basically, but it's really good.
Very cool.
Doughboys. Yeah.
Doughboys. I'll have to check it out. That might end up being your pick of the week. Who
It
knows?
might be. I'm gonna have 2 picks.
Okay. All right. For me, I'm trying to think if I got anything coming up. So, busy week, work wise this week. I'll be doing some traveling. I decided, oh yeah, I'm going to GalaxyCon to support Maxwell again this year.
Nice.
So I'll be there with him the last weekend of July. I'll be doing vacation with my family towards the end of June. I'll be going up to the mountains and spending time with my girlfriend, her family, beginning of July for July 4th weekend. So I got some cool stuff coming up,
You do.
and in the fall I think we might be taking a trip to Asheville. Love Asheville. Have you been yet?
I think that's the place. That's where the Biltmore is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we drove through it, not recently, but
No,
or
you need to go
recently.
visit. If you like
Yeah,
Greenville, you'll like Asheville for sure.
I do love Greenville.
I know you do. You'd move there if you could.
That's the problem whenever I go on
You say it
conferences.
about everything. I
I
know.
immediately go and I look and see like what the housing prices are. I'm like, could I afford to
Yeah.
live here? Turns out, no.
Well, yeah, so that's what I got going on. But what do you got for your pick of the week? You said you got two, huh?
Yeah, so I am gonna go ahead and do Doughboys for one of them.
Yeah.
I already talked about it, so I'm not gonna go into detail. But Doughboys is just a true treat. And then my next one's everybody's in LA with John Mulaney. My wife didn't really like it that much, but I loved it. I don't know if you like John Mulaney. Do you like
Is
him?
John Mulaney the Eat Fresh? No, that's not him.
I mean, you kind of got the voice down a little bit, but he's always wearing the suits. He did the voice of Spider Ham in Spider Verse.
Yeah, that's exactly who that is. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I
He
eat
did the
fresh.
Subway commercials for a while. Yeah.
Did he? I must
Look
have
it up,
missed it.
bro. I'm telling you.
Anyway, him hosting the show is just such a treat. And it was Richard Kind was his announcer, which if you remember on Scrubs, I know you watch
Yeah,
Scrubs, right? You know
I
the guy
did.
that was
Oh no,
always in
that's
there.
not the same guy. No,
Well,
it's not the same guy.
but you know who Richard Kind is, right? Or do you know?
No, I looked him up. I know who John Mulaney is now, but it's not who I was thinking it was.
Okay. Well, Richard Kind is his announcer. He's the guy on Scrubs who always had like he thought he was always sick and ailing and
Yeah.
stuff. You remember him? And he's just a delight also. And
Oh,
it's
is
just
he
a
married to Olivia Munn?
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right.
Well, she's had some bad health stuff going on
Yeah,
recently.
she
I don't know if
did.
you saw
Yeah,
that.
not long ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just really fun, and it was like 6 episodes, and now it's done. It's over. It'll never happen again. I'm hoping he'll do maybe like different cities in the future, like a week of like live, like everybody's in New York, everybody's in Atlanta, everybody's in
Yeah.
Nashville. That'd be cool. But yeah, it was weird. It also reinforced my belief that I never want to go to LA. LA
Oh, I
seems
have
like I mean, it seems like a totally different world. Like I've been to New
I have
York and that was weird.
zero desire to go there.
Dude, it's weird. LA is weird. And I've never been, but like I feel like I've been now that I've watched the show. It's
Yeah.
like I never want to go back.
Yeah. Have you seen this isn't my pick, but a question. Have you seen the new show on HBO Max with Conan where he like
He twirls.
travels the world? He travels the world essentially, like fans will write into him, he'll find out where he lives and he'll go visit them.
No, that sounds nice though.
It's good. You'd like it because you'd like Conan if I remember right, didn't you? Yeah, I thought so.
Love Conan.
Yeah. Conan. So my pick of the week is actually Clarkson Farms. I don't know if you haven't watched it, but like it's interesting to see because it's if you know who Jeremy Clarkson is, you know he's British guy. Has been on Top Gear. He started off as a journalist writing about automobiles, all this other stuff. But like he's very like sarcastic and sometimes very like brash and rude. But then you watch him on this show where he starts a farm on his actual land and basically he's just learning how to be a farmer, and then he discovers all the things that goes into farming, the good side and also the bad side, when you have to put sick animals down and all this stuff. And it's like a whole spectrum of emotions just based on everything that happens in the show. And it's obviously a reality style show, but you get to see how he learns how to like become a farmer, everything that goes into farming that you may have not thought about. But then also like he lives like in a Commonwealth area where like it's a historical town, and the town constantly tries to fight back on him of things, telling him that he can't do on his farm.
Yeah.
When really a lot of what he's doing is trying to like better the town. But because he's a celebrity, he gets a lot of like pushback from the town and stuff. So you get to see that side of it too. It's very interesting. It's on Amazon Prime. Definitely would recommend checking it out. Yeah, that's all that I had. Anything else you want to mention before we close out?
No, I think that's all.
That is all. Well, we want to thank everyone for joining in and listening to us today, or watching us, depending on the avenue. We would love to hear from you. If you would, just please drop us a comment on whatever platform you watch or listen to us on, whether it be YouTube. We also put these on Facebook, I think, as well. And then obviously whatever. We don't put them on Facebook. Just when we stream live, they go to Facebook.
Yeah,
right?
when we go live.
So, but anyways, just please reach out, comment, ask questions. I would like to start reading questions at the top of the show. We would love to hear from you. Ask any questions that you may have. Maybe a hot topic debate you would like Justin and I to debate. So if you wanted to, and also you could weigh in on whatever conversation we had in the previous episode. Yeah, what's up?
I don't remember what the topic was last week or the last episode, but we mentioned like if Terry was listening, he would comment. He never commented.
Oh, is that what you were looking at?
No, I just remember I didn't see any comments come through. He commented on the one before that episode, but not last week. So he's missing an episode. And we could talk crap about him if we want to.
Well, to be fair, he was in Disney all last week. So
don't care.
Okay.
We're enough. Priority one. It's us, his kids, in that order. There's a number 2 and a number 3. And then his wife.
Okay, fair enough.
But we're up here. Kid number 1, kid number 2, his wife.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll let you discuss that with him. But anyways,
discussion.
Well, we appreciate you listening. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back next week with an episode. But yeah, make sure you reach out to us. But until next time, talk to you later.
Bye.
Peace.